We're back here talking about England because it's an international break and there actually aren't many until we go over to Qatar for the World Cup that we're favourites for, with Brazil and France, to be fair. Let's have a little talk about this squad. We've got a couple friendlies coming up against Ivory Coast and Switzerland, and there's been a lot of debate on Twitter about whether we've made the right picks, so we're going to settle it today.
Absolutely. Let's start with the goalkeepers, Theo. We've picked Jordan Pickford, Nick Pope and Sam Johnson. Aaron Ramsdale got a bit of a muscle strain, hasn't it? It's a shame
we haven't picked. That's what Southgate's picked, and we're going to react to it. You know who I'd actually go for? Lee Nichols.
Yeah.
You probably have no idea who he is, but he's the Huddersfield goalkeeper, arguably the best goalkeeper in the Championship this season. Made loads of saves. And when you've got two friendlies, pointless matches, I'd much rather you go for someone new, give them the call up. That's something to remember for their family name, for the history of their life. Instead of going for the same old, Sam Johnson hasn't been as good as Lee Nichols, but it won't be spoken of because I feel like the manager's just going for the old picks that he knows.
Yes.
So it's a bit unfortunate, but I'd like to see some new names.
That is true. Gareth Southgate at times can be a little bit conservative. He goes with what he knows, doesn't he, Theo?
He does. And if you watch the Championship this season, that's probably the wrong decision. But I do agree with Pickford and Pope. Ramsdale's out for injury. That's fair enough.
I'll tell you what, when Pickford puts this shirt on, he is unstoppable.
Twice as good. Right, defenders. Go for him, Dad.
Defenders now. There's been a couple of changes because Trent and Reece James had to pull out. So the list of defenders is as follows, Theo.
Okay.
Kyle Walker-Peters, Connor Cody, Mark Guehi, Tyrick Mitchell, Harry Maguire, Tyrone Mings, Luke Shaw, John Stones and Ben White. Where do we start, Theo?
We start with Harry Maguire. What a awful pick. Southgate talks about picking players on form. Harry Maguire's probably been the most off-form English centre-back in the Premier League.
I'll tell you what, Theo, they've dropped Jadon Sancho, they've dropped Marcus Rashford, but somehow Harry Maguire is still there. It confuses me.
And there's no Fikayo Tomori, who's kept 4 clean sheets in a row for top of the league AC Milan, being coached by Maldini. Pioli has got him playing the Milan way. They're about to win the Serie A, a 4-horse race, underdogs, and it's thanks to Kalulu and Tomori at the back. But we missed it.
Theo.
This was an opportunity for him to get his cap in and maybe stop something massive, because the centre-back position has always been a problem for England, and Tomori is shining. No idea how he's not in that squad.
I think you've been reading my notes because I totally agree. He's been one of the best players at that club this season. And another name, Theo, I don't know if you agree with this.
Yeah.
Trevor Chalobah.
Good point. I don't know if he's fit and ready. I don't know if he's been injured from the Chelsea team lately, but if he is completely fit, that is one player I'd like to see in the England squad, especially if we're playing a 3-back, similar system to what he plays at Chelsea. Loves to get stuck in. You watched the Carabao Cup final. How did he play against Liverpool?
I think Chalobah is a very special player, and I'd love to see him get more game time in the Premier League. And I agree with you about Harry Maguire, Theo. This was the right time to drop him because he's not playing very well.
So we've gone from having a surplus of right-backs, I mean literally a full 11 of right-back, you can put it on the screen, to having a deficit. But obviously Southgate has called up Kyle Walker-Peters, and I'm very happy for him. But what about Livramento?
Theo, what about Livramento? Absolutely. Another name I've got written down, Tariq Lamptey.
And James Tavernier. Now, I know you're going to laugh at me and say the Scottish League is rubbish, he's playing against farmers every week. Hold on a second, before you make that statement. Most English people are going to be watching him on telly in a European final soon, for God's sake. Tavernier carries Rangers, he takes set pieces, which is vital for England, and I think he deserves a call-up, especially when we've got a bit of a deficit in that position. I'd like to see him get his cap in.
And I agree with that, Theo, and I said this yesterday. He's very creative, lots of assists, admittedly in the Scottish League, but it's not a bad league.
It's not, and he proves it against European opposition. They've beaten Dortmund, they've beaten Red Star, they're going to play Braga, they've beaten them before. Tavernier's always at the heart of it. Give him the England call-up, Gareth. I know it's too late, but that's just my opinion.
Absolutely. Theo, what about left-back? What are the options here?
Well, we've brought in Tyrick Mitchell, and it's funny, I feel Aaron Wan-Bissaka is going to be watching the squad announcement or scrolling through Twitter thinking, oh my God, I was the one who left this Palace team for 50 million to United. I was meant to be that fullback playing for England, and Tyrick Mitchell has got a cap before him.
Yes.
He's got a call-up before Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And that's part of the reason he's probably wanting to play for DRC Congo instead. He's probably just sacked it off because I know we've got a load of right-backs, but it's unbelievable how Mitchell's got there first.
I'm sorry, I'm going to defend him. I think he's had a great season. I think he's a really talented lad. The tackling, the blocking, the interceptions. Give him his debut.
No, I completely agree. I'm just saying, if I was Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I'd be thinking, what has gone wrong? He must feel awful rotting on the United bench.
Well, Theo, I'm not going to shed too many tears really for him because United, honestly, there's not many players in that United squad who've said pick me for England.
Defensively, I think Wan-Bissaka is one of the best defenders in the world. He's just not very good going forward.
Yes.
I'd like to see him have maybe transitioned into a 3-back centre-back, because then we could still have a right wing-back to offer us going forward. That's gone now. There's no chance he's in the England squad.
But Theo, the name Luke Shaw, let's talk about him, because my understanding is he's not fully fit. He's not had a great season.
Yeah.
Should he be in that 25-man squad?
I don't know where a Leicester player is in this squad. There's no Leicester player in this England call-up. Southgate speaks about picking players on form, and he's gone with Luke Shaw, who in my opinion has been pretty awful for Manchester United. But we don't have many left-backs, so fair enough. But what about Luke Thomas?
Yes.
I watched Luke Thomas 90 minutes against Liverpool. He dealt with Mo Salah.
Yeah.
He's young, he's up and coming. He deserves the call-up. This was an opportunity, 2 friendlies, less important games to get him in there. There's not a single Leicester player in this whole England squad. That's quite worrying. They've got a lot of good English players.
Absolutely. We're 8 months away from the World Cup.
Not many
now
call-ups
is
left.
the time to try out some of these players.
Yeah.
Theo, what about Eric Dyer? Going back to centre-back.
He's had a very good
He's had a
season.
really good season.
We picked 6 centre-backs and he's not made it in. And I'm very happy for Ben White. I think Mark Guehi completely deserved it. But a more point for me, why do we need 6 centre-backs facing Ivory Coast and Switzerland? Why didn't we just offer another midfield position for someone like Jacob Ramsey, who could start to gel into the team? Because that's actually someone going forward that would offer a lot to England. Midfielders then.
No, I'm not talking about the midfielders.
Why? There's quite a few. We've got to talk about it, you know?
Because we've not got 10,000 likes.
Oh, I see. Okay, 3, 2, 1. They've hit the like button. We're on road to 10k. Let's talk about those midfield spots.
England have picked the following, Theo: Jude Bellingham, Conor Gallagher, Jordan Henderson, Mason Mount, Declan Rice and James Ward-Prowse. Well done, James Ward-Prowse.
Yeah, it's pretty much all first team, isn't it?
Yes,
There's
it
not
is.
been any injuries in the midfield. So, unfortunately, there's no space for the likes of James Maddison, Dewsbury Hall, Jacob Ramsey. I've been impressed with this season. With 2 pointless games, we could have mixed it up. Could have gone fresh, given some new players the call-ups, see how they adapt in an England shirt. But clearly Southgate has gone for the names that he knows, the ones he trusts, and the ones he's going to play in the World Cup. So in a way, it's fair enough.
It is, Theo. Now, James Maddison, I think he's been in good form recently. I mean, occasionally he's got a lot of injuries, hasn't he, that lad?
He has had a lot of injuries, but when he's fit, he's unbelievable.
Yes.
His goals lately have been astonishing. The free kicks,
yes,
the long shot against Randers in the Conference League. I know it's Randers, but the geezer can hit it. I'm just happy for Ward-Prowse. We had this discussion. Obviously, didn't make it to the Euros, but he's in there. He's going to be a regular now, hopefully.
We are massive fans of James Ward-Prowse. I'm a massive fan of Jordan Henderson for obvious reasons, but does he need to play every game? Couldn't you have rested him for this game? The same way that Kyle Walker was rested and brought in James Maddison.
All the Leicester boys. Honestly, if you're a Foxes fan, I'd be fuming. Fair play to Palace, though. They've got 3 players in this England team.
Brilliant. And the transformation at Crystal Palace this season has been superb. Well done, Patrick Vieira.
I remember we were talking about academies and I ranked them pretty low, and then I did my research and I had a bit of a shocker there. I'll put my hands in the air and admit they're on the way up. They've got more call-ups than Manchester United in this England team, and that's not a surprise. Much more positive. If I was a footballer, I'd much rather be right now at Palace than United. Simple as that.
Absolutely, Theo. I look at that list of names: Jude Bellingham, Declan Rice. We've got a really good chance in November, December, haven't we?
We do. Let's move on to the forwards.
And now for the forwards, and Tammy Abraham had to drop out. We'll talk about that in a minute, but the list now is as follows: Ollie Watkins, Jack Grealish.
Stop there. Jack Grealish. Talk about calling players on form and you've got Grealish.
Theo, I'm a massive fan of Jack Grealish.
There better be Sancho, but keep going.
Okay. Phil Foden, Harry Kane, Bukayo Saka, Emil Smith-Rowe and Raheem Sterling. What do you think?
And Jadon Sancho. You missed it, Dad. Why, we don't have to refilm this video now.
Jadon Sancho. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Jadon Sancho.
He's not in the team.
You're
Theo.
kidding me.
And how do you feel about that?
I thought we'd have to refilm it. No Jadon Sancho, but there's Jack Grealish in the team. Talk about calling players on form. Sancho's been unreal. Every big game United have played in, he's been the only diamond in the rough. And you've got Jack Grealish, who the last 2 months he's scored against Peterborough, isn't that it?
Yeah, but you know what? Southgate was asked about this. He said there's competition for places. That's fair enough, isn't it? Very strong competition.
No, it's not fair enough. It's the wrong decision. Talk about Harvey Barnes. I swear this geezer's got a contribution pretty much every game.
Yeah.
What more does he have to do to get an England call up? And you've got 2 pointless games against Ivory Coast, Switzerland. A bit of a warm-up. You could refresh the team, and Harvey Barnes doesn't make it. I don't get it. I'm
Theo,
sorry.
I was a little bit surprised. Emil Smith-Rowe. Now, I like him. He's a good young player, but in recent weeks, he's not played much.
Emil Smith-Rowe has not done much in 2 months. He's not even got into the Arsenal team. When we last played him in San Marino, we won 10-0. He got a goal He was on very good form right then. But he's been coming back from an injury and he's not at his best for Arsenal.
Yes.
So I don't think giving him the call-up was the right decision. You should have gone Harvey Barnes. And quite frankly, did you say Ollie Watkins, Dad?
I'm a bit surprised about that one.
What about Ivan Toney?
Yeah.
And I know Tammy Abraham is injured, but he did just score on the weekend, so a bit unusual. But Ivan Toney's been on very good form, scoring goals recently for Brentford, got his first Premier League hat-trick, etc. Why not pick him over Ollie Watkins? I don't get that.
Would have been the right decision. Ollie Watkins, good player, not a great player, scored 7 goals in the Premier League this season. Ivan Toney's got 5 goals in the last 2 games, I think.
That's unbelievable, and it's astonishing how we haven't given him the call. He's probably looking at his phone, absolutely screaming, has Southgate got the wrong number? I'm not saying we're in a golden era, but we have one of our best chances to win a World Cup. The years my dad has been through are pure rubbish. We've really got to appreciate this more.
Yes.
We've got a team there which is so good. We need to maximise our potential of winning.
Yes.
And with teams like this, I just get a little bit worried because we're missing out on key players that could help us get that golden moment.
I mean, Theo, to summarise it, I'd say this is a good squad, but I don't think you've been brave enough, Gareth Southgate. I think Tomori is a mistake. Chalobah, if he's fit, should be in there. Jadon Sancho, James Maddison. These are some players I'd like to see in there.
3 Palace players, 0 Leicester City, 1 Manchester United. It's funny. It's like, you wouldn't have thought that a few years ago, eh?
I tell you what, Maddison and Barnes cannot be happy.
Please let us know in the comments what was the biggest shocker. Hopefully England can still get big wins against Ivory Coast and Switzerland and prove that the players that have given the call up a reason why and absolutely smash him. Let us know. This is all about debate, this video, so get down the comments.
Like, subscribe. I'm off to have a beer. See ya.
And I'm off to Portugal, actually. Watch out for the vlogs. Portugal qualifies. Let's go. See you in a bit.